Ooh, double trouble. We just got done with one live stream. Now we're on to another. So if anyone missed that one, the replay is already out. Check out our episode 189, the SummerSlam preview. I'm your host, the most Aaron Cass, here with Hollywood Ray. But before we go, make sure you like, subscribe, and follow That's My Sports on YouTube. Today, we're getting into NFL head coaches, the MLB Hall of Fame. I mean, where should we start first? Let's start with the NFL coaches. So obviously, there's a lot going on. But Hollywood Ray, how you doing?
Oh, I'm good, man. And just a quick correction. So it was our Royal Rumble. So it's a Royal Rumble that's happening this weekend. So if you missed that, just make sure that you listen to it. We literally just got it out. But I'm good. Feels good to do back to back shows. Once again, we're getting back to our 2020 our 2020 form. We was giving y'all shows twice a week like it was nothing. So we trying to get back to that so we can get their numbers back up. So but I'm feeling good.
Nice. You know who else is feeling good? Jim Harbaugh. Was it 9 years at Michigan? Obviously brought that program a national championship since Lloyd Carr in 1997. He says, you know what? I won one. I'm going to go back over to the West Coast. He's the new Chargers head coach. So is that a smart move for San Diego, for Los Angeles with Justin Herbert? Obviously Keenan Allen's getting up there. They don't have Austin Eckler. He is a free agent. So can Jim Harbaugh literally elevate them back to the playoffs?
So, I mean, I feel like his if he was able to put together a promotion, it should say full circle. Because him playing at Michigan, he went to school here in Michigan, becomes a coach. He was once a part of the Chargers organization as a quarterback. He now leaves him as head coach. So, I think that's an excellent move on his behalf. He definitely loves California because once again, he was the coach at Stanford. He was the coach at San Diego as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
But everywhere he's been, the winning percentage has increased. That's the biggest thing. So he's a leader of men. It takes time for him to implement the program, regardless of where he's at, and I think he just knows how to get buy-in. And I don't think missing Eckler next year, whether he was coming on the team or being back on the team or being a free agent, I don't think that's going to be much of a miss. Because Harbaugh likes to run, I feel like he's going to find running backs that know how to fit the system. Hell, he might even draft Blake Corum to come to LA, or draft what's the other cat that's on the Donovan Edwards, right? Yeah.
Donovan Edwards is staying at Michigan.
Oh, he's staying at Michigan. Okay, so I thought so yeah, he may draft Corum. I know Corum should be coming out. So.
Now, since we're kind of on the Michigan Jim Harbaugh, so I saw this one meme. It was Brian Kelly, and it says, "Seems like a mistake, but at least I won't have to fake that Cajun accent any longer." So should Brian Kelly go to the Michigan Wolverines, or should it be the offensive coordinator for Michigan that was in place of Jim Harbaugh? I think it should be the offensive coordinator. I think it's Coach Moore. So I think he should just get elevated like it happened in Jackson State when Deion left for Colorado. I think it should just go like that because I feel like the kids still respect him. And he did beat Ohio State with Jim Harbaugh absent.
Right. Yeah, I mean, yeah, he was great. Coach Moore was awesome in his absence. And, folks were laughing at him because they thought he was kind of over the top because he was rooting for Harbaugh. But it's like, dude, like he gave him a chance. And then that dude's probably going to get a head coaching job because of the job he did while Harbaugh was out for those weeks at a time. So yeah, but yeah, I would hire internally. I wouldn't bring anyone else in unless they were an actual Michigan man. And but I mean, yeah, kudos on the job well done in the 9 seasons. Once again, we saw it all. We saw from him loving Harbaugh to him needing to get fired to loving him again. So yeah, job well done. And like I said, now. He goes to one of the more ready-made teams in the league. So we'll see how that all transpires.
Speaking of transpiring, there is a coach that is going back to where he kind of started, but not really. So Raheem Morris, this is breaking news. I think it was like 2 hours ago, going back to the Atlanta Falcons. as the permanent head coach now. So did the Falcons make a mistake in not hiring Raheem Morris the first time and bringing in Arthur Smith? Or did Raheem Morris is like, you know what, this is my only opportunity to get a head coaching job? Because I really didn't hear his name at all for going into interviews with any teams, unless you did.
No, I mean, I just think that he would have been revered as a coordinator, regardless of in some other spots that he could have went. Once in Tennessee dried up, like Seattle is still open, right? Seattle hasn't found their next head coach yet, but LA is now taken. Washington is taken too, right? Isn't it? No, is Washington still looking for a head coach?
No, it's Jed Fish from Arizona.
Jeff, really? Okay.
Yes, he took it over.
I missed that. So wow. Okay, that's okay. That's a little different. I know who Jeff Fisher is, but I didn't know that he went over there. But okay, so that's now taken. So yeah, I just think the place is dried up, and teams have been doing their searches since November, anyways. If we're being honest, and I think that they probably had to have an honest and transparent conversation with Raheem Morris to say, look, at the time, we thought X, Y, and Z, even though you would produce X, Y, and Z, we went in a different direction. We thought highly of you then. We still think highly of you now. Would you be willing to come back and be the leader of this franchise? But we was talking a little bit about this off the air, because remember, Bill Belichick had, just as last week, had been someone who had been, who seemed to be the lead candidate for the Falcons job, but Terry Fontenot, who's a former offensive lineman, is in their front office. Rich McKay, who's been there for forever, and I think because they all know Belichick, and Belichick obviously is still demanding what he's going to demand, because he's the greatest coach of all time. I think that his demands, as I heard earlier on a local platform here in Boston, I think is leading to him not getting the openings that he thought he could get. So just what are your thoughts on that? Do you think he needs to lower his demands, or do you think he should set out for 2024?
Well, we talked about it in episode 188 on Tuesday. Check that episode out. That one's out there on all platforms as well as YouTube. Bill Belichick, the GM, is kind of hurting his stock. If it's just Bill Belichick, the coach, he would have already been scooped up. But because he had all that control in New England, teams noticed it. He was drafting the wrong guys. They weren't producing. I mean, are there teams that are thinking, hey, we don't have a Tom Brady-esque type quarterback? Is he going to ruin this quarterback like Mac Jones and Bailey Zappi? It just felt like once it kind of got near the end of his regime in New England, everything kind of started falling apart. Right. Plus, I mean, it's not the 2000s anymore. You can't have the same defensive players in the way they used to play towards this new NFL, where it's, if you even breathe on a quarterback, it's an automatic 15 yards. So I think if Bill Belichick lowers his standards and he's like, hey, listen, I'm just here to coach. You can find the GM, find someone that'll kind of work with me. Then I think teams will come like, okay, yeah, maybe we should bring him in. But if he can't, yeah, sure, take the year off. Mike McCarthy did it. He became a Dallas head coach. I mean, if you want to go back to defensive coordinator, even though it's kind of like a step down, I mean, the Giants are very much open. John Mara is going to give you a blank check for whatever you want. You're going to have complete control of that defense. Brian Daboll is not going to make you resign in Sarasota, Florida. So I think it can either go two ways. Just kind of, it's on your pride, really. But speaking of Bill Belichick and the Patriots, did you see Mike Vrabel? He was going to get the Falcons job, but I think what didn't happen for him to get it was that he was going to bring on Arthur Smith as his O coordinator. Talk about some bad blood right there. You just fired a guy, told him to clean his desk, and then he's coming back as an offensive coordinator. That would be a good duo in Seattle. We definitely talked about that with Mike Vrabel. So those two should go to Seattle and work up there.
Yeah, I mean, Geno fits in to the mediocre quarterback that Mike Vrabel likes. When once again, when you commit 118 to Ryan Tannehill, you're attached to mediocrity. Or as we spoke about last week, you have an unnatural allegiance to losers, and it's not like you.
Yes, preach,
So
Cat Williams.
you know, what I'm saying, so I think I think that yeah, I would like to see that. I think that Vrabel fits that that region. I think that he'd be a good coach up there. So would Arthur Smith, but that's really, I guess, the only spot that would be yeah. Well, I mean, and this is not going to happen, I don't think, but that would be hilarious if Belichick came in and to replace Carroll again.
I mean, they have the defensive pieces to work. It's just, will Seattle say, "Listen, you can only be the coach"? That's the only problem. I mean,
but I'm like you just said a few moments ago. At some point, Bill has to put aside the pride. And once again, we understand what he has been, as a leader, what he's been as a coach, what he's been as a coordinator, right? Like he has been, and by the way, side note, I thought Skip Bayless was out of bounds. I don't know if it was today or whatever.
he always is.
No, but there's sometimes when he's like calling Belichick a glorified D coordinator is unbelievable. Like
wow.
That's wild. That's wild. Once again, he has said some stuff in his day, and he's made me laugh and stuff. He's made me get angry with stuff. But that to me, as much as I wanted Belichick out of New England, because I feel like the game has passed him by, I felt that it was unfair and honestly cruel to just label him as a glorified defensive coordinator, especially when you probably didn't do anything past Pop Warner football in Oklahoma. Just once again,
for real,
not an opinion. That's a fact. But but just back to these vacancies. I think that Seattle should take a long look at Vrabel and Smith as a tandem. I think that
and Ryan Tannehill is a free agent, so he could potentially go to Seattle if they really want mediocrity.
That's true. But I also think too. I don't know if it makes sense for Bill to take the year off because he's going to be 72 in April, right? So it's not like he's about 61, 62. He's going to be 72 in April, and if teams are already thinking that you passed or the game has passed you by, what's another year going to do with you being out the game? I feel like he deserves to be a coach somewhere. And like you said, I just don't know if he's going to lower his standards, so to speak, as I put that in air quotes, to be some team's coordinator. I think that he wants to coach. I think that he wants to be the highest paid coach, though, which once again, I don't know how much sense that makes in 2023. The thing is, we're finding out what it would have been if the Spurs had fired Pop.
Yeah.
And, I'm not sure a million teams would have been knocking down at Pop's door. Would there have been a few that wanted him? Absolutely. But we're seeing it now. You get a guy that's 7-5 and you ain't won 10 games yet. It's crazy. So, it's a whole nother thing. But yeah, I don't know. There's a lot left to be desired. But we'll see if another team calls up and offers a deal that he can't refuse.
Well, there was one deal that he couldn't refuse, and I feel sorry for this guy, but the Buccaneers offensive coordinator, Dave Canales, hopefully I'm saying that right, is now the head coach of Keep Pounding, the Carolina Panthers. I mean, talk about being in a bad situation. You have no first round pick this year. Your salary cap, I believe, is not the greatest. You have Bryce Young. Like, can you work with that? Yes, you worked with Baker Mayfield last year. Does that hurt the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with Baker Mayfield because his offensive coordinator is gone? We saw Rashad White pretty much tweet out no with some sad faces that he left. So it's kind of interesting how one person just affected two different franchises in the same day. So I mean, I hope Dave Tippett gave Tepper, thinking of a different owner, gives this guy at least 3 years to figure everything out and not give him the Frank Reich treatment and get fired first year, because this team is a freaking mess. No matter how you look at it, This team is just straight awful, and this owner has no idea what he's doing in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna find out very quickly, right? I think that they I mean, listen, it's hard. It's hard to not jump at a head coaching opportunity, and so congrats to him. I mean, once again, you don't know how often they're going to come around, so maybe he impressed them enough in the interview that they chose to give him the position. It is becoming more analytical, so maybe he's an analytical guy. Maybe they saw the resurgence he had with Baker Mayfield, so he said, "Well, hey, if you can do this resurgence with Baker Mayfield, maybe we can do the same down here with Bryce Young." So they have a long way to go. Like you said, they don't have a first round pick, so that alone hinders some of their progress for next year. But they're going to have to hit on a lot of late rounds, and I'm not sure. The way they've handled things as the organization, unless they throw a boatload of money at somebody, I'm not sure anyone's going to want to come down there to play. So, but once again, congrats to the coach for getting the role. But, I just think that there's a lot of things that they need to work on as a franchise in order to get back to where they were, some years ago during the Cam Newton era.
Now, with all these head coaches kind of coming into place, does this hurt the chances of Bobby Slowick, who is out of the playoffs for the Houston Texans, and Ben Johnson, who is still in the playoffs? I know Washington, their head coaching is still available. We just talked about Seattle. Does that kind of hurt them in a sense because their team hasn't lost yet? Or is something just going to happen magically that we're not thinking it? Is Washington waiting for Ben Johnson so they can just offer him whatever they want? Or are they still looking because they're just not quite sure?
Well, you said Jeff Fisher's over there, so he's not going to be the head coach, right?
Oh, I thought you meant Washington Huskies. I'm sorry. Jeff Fish is the Washington Huskies head coach. No, nobody's in Washington.
Got you. Okay.
The only person was Eric Bieniemy so far that has interviewed that they wowed, but no one's in Washington right now.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like they're probably waiting for Johnson more than Slowick, I feel like. And truth be told, it depends on what happens. They may both say, you know what, look, we're building something great here in Detroit. We're building something great here in Houston. So you know what? Let's hold off for another year. Let's see what happens. And if things work out, then maybe I'll move on. But other than that, I'm good. So maybe that's just what it is. It looked like they said that Zach Robinson is going to be attached to Raheem Morris down there. So I don't know if that's official yet, but I'm just waiting for it.
It literally just happened like a minute ago that it's possible that he's going to go over there as offensive coordinator.
Gotcha. Yeah. So yeah, I know. I seen Rappaport's tweet when it came out right away about that being a possibility, but which just means that obviously, Robert Kraft is going to look at bringing either Nick Caley or McDaniels back to New England. And the only reason why I'm almost positive is going to be McDaniels is because they don't have to pay him. He's still getting paid from Vegas, so because that's not something they have to pay for, just like they did with Patricia, they're going to bring him in for another year unless Bill gets hired, and then Bill can bring McDaniels back to wherever he's going. But it doesn't seem like that's going to be the case. So that means that I think it's either going to be McDaniels or Caley that are going to be here next year as the OC.
Interesting. Other things around the league, Bill's interviewing Joe Brady for their permanent full-time offensive coordinator role. Eric Bieniemy, obviously, I believe he interviewed for the Eagles or is going to interview for the Eagles for their offensive coordinator position. Vic Fangio, for personal reasons, parted ways with the Miami Dolphins as their defensive coordinator and is actually elevated to the Eagles defensive coordinator position. So that will be interesting. And also, too, the Rams are getting 2024 and 2025 third-round picks because Raheem Morris is going over to Atlanta.
Okay.
So that should be interesting. And I'm just looking real quick if anything else is going to happen as we're talking, because usually when we do, something always happens.
Right.
Nothing yet. But how do you feel about Eric Bieniemy, though? I think he would be a good fit for New England, depending on what they're trying to do, or is he just going to keep moving around?
So I don't want him to become the Sam Cassell of the NFL, right? Sam Cassell should have been the head coach by now. Should be. Great leader. Teams always love him. Knows the game. Although Mahomes is still being Mahomes, there was a different level when he would when they was under the tutelage of the enemy, in my opinion, coupled with what he did with Andy Reid, right? I think that I want him to get a head coaching role. I know that that's not the thing because of their record this year wasn't it was subpar. But yeah, I mean that would be cool if that was the case. But I don't see that as an option unless Kraft gave him a lucrative check to come up to New England. So
Interesting. Yeah. I could kind of see him with the Raiders, because if he goes with the Raiders, he could work with like a Jaden Daniels, because Coach AP is definitely going to try to find a way to get a quarterback, because as much as Aiden O'Connell is his man from Purdue, pretty sure Jaden Daniels emulates the culture of the Raiders. But before we move on, just one quick thing. Do you think Raheem Morris, now that he's in Atlanta, does that help with trying to get Justin Fields to come to the ATL? Because it's kind of like a culture thing, or
either that or they draft Penix. Either that, one or two. So
interesting.
Yeah. So yep. But then, but knowing what they've been doing recently, that just means they'll sign Jacoby Brissett. So
yeah, I can see that. I mean, Jacoby Brissett is a good player.
Yeah,
he's a good quarterback, but he's obviously not.
I'll take him back here as a bridge for a year.
I mean, Bill Parcells said he was better than Jimmy Garoppolo, and it's kind of looking that way.
Yeah, but I'm like he's fond of Brissett. That's why I mean he was really high on Brissett. So
he's also really high on Phil Simms and won Super Bowl.
He also won with him. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Better be high with him.
All right, well, we're going to transition a little bit on high since we're talking about that. So the 2024 MLB Hall of Fame came and went. 3 guys came in and 1 manager. Jim Leland is the manager who was voted in. And we have Todd Helton, Joe Mauer, and Adrian Beltre, the only first ballot Hall of Famers to go in this year. Billy Wagner was shy of 5 votes. Why couldn't they just give him the 5 votes? You have players like Bobby Abreu, Gary Sheffield, Chase Utley did not make the cut. Alex Rodriguez did not make the cut. So do you think that these guys should have been Hall of Fame worthy, or there are still guys like Andrew Jones who are still out there, and Carlos Beltran who deserve it better than these guys?
Yeah, and once again, but before you slander Andrew Jones,
I didn't even slander. I say he should be in the Hall.
I'm saying I know how it is. It's an NL East thing. I get it. Andrew Jones is a Hall of Famer. He should be. What just on defense alone, that man was special. So I don't have to go into detail, but he's a Hall of Famer. I want to know who the 5 voters were that said no to Billy Wagner. Like I don't understand it. I don't get it. And as much as he's got caught for cheating and was a clown show at times, especially in the Yankee uniform. Say what you will, but Mr. Kendo himself, aka Alex Rodriguez, he's a Hall of Famer. Cut it out. The man is a Hall of Famer. But once again, I cannot take people clown the NBA Hall of Fame, but I can't take the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame seriously anymore, because you having a Hall of Fame without Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens. How? You're not telling me that guys like Roger Hornsby, Ty Cobb, a Rod Carew, a Mickey Mantle, Roger Maris, Harmon Killebrew, you name it, Brooks Robinson, whatever, you name it. Don't tell me that some of those guys didn't use stuff to get them back on the fucking field. And once again, you know me, I don't care, but don't act like it didn't fucking happen just because those guys were my heroes growing up. And I think about even the Red Sox guys. We watched George Scott, and we watched Rico Petrocelli, and we watched we watched Carl Yastrzemski, and he was our Yaz. No, don't tell me, and Jim Longboard, who I met some of his family at City Tap about a year ago.
Also, of course you did.
But don't tell me that those guys, they put a little something on their arms, some of their legs. And once again, it's cool because you're trying to provide for the family. I get it. I'm not mad at it. Especially when you had guys like Bob Gibson throwing down your fucking neck. I get it. I would have took whatever advantage I could have to get one off Bob Gibson. You better believe it. So I can't take it as seriously, but yeah. Helton was phenomenal, especially I think about that 2000 season. Him and Nomar was going back and forth for who had the best batting average.
I just think that Don Mattingly is better than Todd Helton, and he's not in the Hall of Fame. I think he has to get put in by the committee.
Let me put up Helton's number. No way.
I just think that Todd Helton, I believe, what was it, right after the 2005 season, just kind of just declined immensely.
Let's see. So Todd,
and it just doesn't look like, if you look at his stats, like even a guy who isn't in the Hall yet, who's still playing, Paul Goldschmidt, has almost better stats than Todd Helton. So you're going to say Paul Goldschmidt is a Hall of Famer?
316. So 5-time All-Star, 3-time Gold Glove, got the batting title, 4-time Silver Slugger. Okay. So, I thought he hit 400. Okay, so 369 home runs. Okay. Let's see. So you said after 2005, you said you thought he fell off?
A little bit, yeah. It wasn't the numbers.
I mean, I feel like I don't think he was a full-time player really after 2006. So
no, he was.
His last 20 home run season was 2005, like you said, and then he had 17 and 91 the year they went to the World Series against the Red Sox. Which, I mean, that was one of the greatest postseason runs I've seen. I know they didn't win, but to win 20 straight going into the final day of the season, beating San Diego, then winning the NLCS, and then obviously, losing to the Red Sox. But that was a hell of a run. I don't know. I just think, to me, you could count on him getting 300. Once again, if he was getting 17 and 90 right now, he would have been an all-star now, because they love those numbers. It's like if you hitting 40 for 140, they're like, oh, it's okay. But like 17 for 91 apparently is like phenomenal. Hell, a guy who's on the ballot for next year, one of my beloved Red Sox, Dustin Pedroia, won the MVP with 17 home runs and 83 runs batted in 2008.
Insane.
So,
yeah, that was insane.
You know what I'm saying? So, but Petey's a Hall of Famer in my opinion, because he was one of the best players at second base. Because I think about it like this: like, were you one of the best at your position for a number of years? For Helton, that's a yes. For Mattingly, I agree, it's a yes. So they should be in now. He has another 150 more home runs than Mattingly, though. That's another difference. He was in Yankee Stadium, so I don't get that. He should have hit at least 300 in playing in Yankee Stadium, especially the old one, because that porch was as close as you and I.
I mean, that's pretty factual.
You know what I'm saying? So that to me, Sheffield should be there next year.
Well, Sheffield, this was his last year, so now he has to have it in by committee.
So got you. So,
and that's ridiculous too. Apparently, he did steroids or whatever, but if you look at his numbers, it's still phenomenal for what he did. I don't think he did steroids, but still phenomenal. And I mean, David Ortiz, he got caught doing steroids, and he was a first ballot Hall of Famer too. So I mean,
Manny's not even in.
No, Manny got 32.5, I think, percent.
That's fucking crazy. And once again, I don't want to turn this into, but I'm like, Manny Ramirez, 312 batting average, right? Because I don't even look it up. I know it.
He doesn't need to, folks.
555 home runs in your career. Listen, this man is. And once again, I'm biased, and I admit my bias. He's the best right-handed hitter I've seen. I get it. You could say Pujols. You can say I won't knock you. What I see Manny Ramirez do from day one when he got to Boston, hell, even when he was in Cleveland and had 165 runs batted in, which is like that's some 1965 type shit, Willie Mays type shit. and he came into Cleveland and did that. And that team, those teams were loaded. The Albert Bells, the Jim Tomlins, the Omar Vizquels, the Alomar twins. Well, not twins, sorry, brothers. I'm trying to think who else was on that team. No, Science One was later on.
Was Albert Bell there?
Often, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on. And this man was head and shoulders. And you telling me he's not a Hall of Famer? Because matter of fact, I did a show on Missing the Point with Dan Shaughnessy, who was one of the greatest columnists that this industry's ever seen. And me and him got into it back and forth because I said, Mr. Shaughnessy, how can you be a yearly voter and you ignore Manny Ramirez? I said, you're a columnist for Boston. It's not like, you're some guy from Kansas City. I said, man, he was like, because he said Dwight Evans was better.
Wow.
He said that Yaz was better. He said if Fred Lynn played longer here, he would have been better.
Let's not say things we don't mean.
Well, no, but remember he came up in that era. So Fred Lynn before the injury, before he got injured, was really good up here. Like, so to make it more modern for the fans that know baseball, when the Red Sox won in 2018. So remember Betts, Benintendi, Bradley. That's how. So in 1975, when we lost to Cincinnati, Fred Lynn, Dwight Evans, Jim Rice. Oh no, I'm tripping. Yaz, Fred Lynn, and then Jim Rice. That's how that was. So that's how that lineup was. We had the best outfielders in baseball at the time, and injuries and other stuff happened that changed people's careers. But I'm sorry. And unfortunately I didn't see any of those guys play. I wish I could have, because they're all Red Sox legends. They're legends in their own right in the game. Manny Ramirez was just different. I'm sorry. I've never seen someone turn a fastball. I think my one memory of him, I wish I could find it on Twitter. It's in the Sky Dome, so it's in Toronto. This guy throws. I don't know if it was Chris Carpenter or not, because Chris Carpenter, he wasn't always on the Cardinals, y'all. He was in Toronto for a little bit too. He threw a hanging curveball to Manny Ramirez, and Manny Ramirez hit it 491 feet in the third deck. Like, I'm talking without effort. And I said, oh my God. I said, this man is different. And that's just one of many feats that I can say about Manny Ramirez. So, once again, I didn't mean to turn it into the Manny Ramirez hour, but damn, it's a shame that man's not in the Hall of Fame. But, but I'll bring it back to you, because, you had some different thoughts about Joe Mauer getting this bid. So, tell us your thoughts on Mr. Joe Mauer.
Yeah, the problem I have with Joe Mauer is you're putting this guy first ballot. So that means Buster Posey, JT Realmuto, Salvador Perez, and Yadier Molina are going to be first ballot Hall of Famers? So straight up first ballot. And then you have a guy like Jorge Posada.
Name those guys again? Name those guys again? I'll say yes or no.
Buster Posey.
Yes.
First ballot.
Yes, Buster.
Oh my God! I wouldn't put him first ballot. If you're talking about defensively, yes, but if you look at his offensive stats, it's really not that great.
But that position is the most grueling. So guys are not going to hit. Everybody can't be your guy in New York. Sorry. So okay. So next, who else?
Yadier Molina. I will give Yadier.
Yadier, yes,
just because of the Gold Gloves and this and that. Salvador Perez.
No.
And JT Realmuto. No. You're essentially giving those guys first ballot Hall of Fame. Mike Piazza.
No.
Mike Piazza, who is one of the greatest hitting catchers of all time, was not a first ballot. I think he was in his third or fourth year. Yogi Berra, who evidently has two hands full of rings, pretty good catcher back then, was not a first ballot. Gary Carter, who I think is better than Joe Mauer, never got first ballot, and Joe Mauer is essentially better than these guys.
Wait, come on. So yes, right. I agree with that sentiment. My only thing is, I'm not in the business of keep compounding mistakes because they got it wrong before. Yadier Molina is first ballot. Joe Mauer, in my opinion, was first ballot. Once again, I think about were you the guy at your position for a number of years? That's a yes. Buster Posey, yes. But Realmuto and Salvador Perez, no. Like, Salvador Perez has some good years. And I know he was on that team that won the championship in 2015. But no, man, no, hell no. Yadier, yes. Posey, yes. Posada, absolutely his first ballot.
He apparently they don't think so.
Well, no,
apparently Joe Mauer is better than Jorge Posada. And Jorge Posada is a 4-time World Series, 5-time All-Star. I believe he's a 5-time Silver Slugger. I could be wrong on that. You could fact check me. Sure, he wasn't an MVP, and he wasn't on MLB The Show cover, but he's just as good as Joe Mauer. If not, I think better.
On those Yankees teams, where are you listing him? Because so it'd be Jeter.
Or are we just talking about like all time, like in his era?
I'm in that era because I mean that's what they won the 5 championships with him. So I'm saying I don't put him above Pettit.
Well, if we're going by pitchers, that's completely
no. I'm just the impact.
So I would go Jeter, Bernie Williams.
Okay.
I would actually go Jorge 3.
Wow.
Because Jorge was a tough out. He's definitely a tough out when pitching, which we all know I believe it was the 04 series. So we know that. You could put Aroyd. You could put Aroyd in there as well at 4. Just trying to think of all the past.
Wait, no, because I can't believe no. Keep going, because there's some guy that you haven't named. I can't believe you haven't named yet.
Who is it? Okay, I'll probably
Tino Martinez. He was huge for them in that era. Huge.
Okay. I always forget that he was with the Mariners for a little bit as well. So I kind of I know he came back for that 05 season, I think.
No, we talked the late 90s run. I'm not talking about the late 90s run. Yeah, I know he was in Seattle for a little bit. That's true. He was.
I mean, you could say Paul O'Neill as well.
Oh, yeah.
From Cincinnati.
Yep. Exactly. So, so to me, Brochus was big for them. So I don't know. I mean, Posada's definitely top 5 in that era for me.
I mean, I'll give you the stats right here for Joe Mauer, Jorge Posada, and yes, I was right for Posada with the 5-time Silver Slugger. So Posada, I hate this WAR thing, but WAR is 42.7. He has 1,664 hits, 275 homers, and a 273 batting average for his career. Joe Mauer, 55.2 WAR, whatever, 2,123 hits, 143 homers, and a 306 batting average. The only thing Joe Mauer has is that one MVP. I'm sorry, he's also a 5-time Silver Slugger.
Right, that matters.
So, okay, I'll give him that one.
So that means 5 times he was the best at that position.
Well, then Jorge should be in there as well.
Oh no,
I agree. They're probably giving Mauer is better than Posada because he's a 3-time batting title champ as well, Joe Mauer.
Right, which is once again that's hard to do from the catcher position. That's hard. Once again, and no, you're spoiled, and so is Chris and any other Mets fan.
Why am I spoiled?
No, you are spoiled because you had Gary Carter to Mike Piazza, so you're spoiled. Everyone's not going to be Gary Carter or Mike Piazza.
Well, I don't think anyone can be Mike Piazza because he's a all-time home run catching champion. But I mean, Pudge is I think a better catcher than Piazza defensively.
He's my personal favorite, but yeah. But I'm like, everyone can't be those guys. So it's hard.
Well, they should. All right, they should. But I'm just saying, if you're gonna put Joe Mauer in first ballot, you have to put in these kind of guys too.
I just think it wasn't, and clearly by the numbers. Funny, we didn't even get into Beltray yet. I'm gonna get to him in a second, but I don't think it was a super strong year, obviously. So I think because of that, I think that's why these guys got in like that. But I just feel like it'd have been okay to get 4 or 5 guys in there. Because I'm pulling up Beltray's numbers.
I already got it right here. If his WAR 93.5, 3,166 hits, 477 homers, 286 batting average. He's a 4-time All-Star, 2-time Platinum Gold, 4-time Silver Slugger, 5-time Gold Glove.
Right.
I'm just saying I would take out Joe Mauer and Todd Helton, and I would put in Carlos Beltran, Billy Wagner, right there.
So early predictions for next year, I think Pedroia.
Well, if we're going, really though, Pedroia is a Hall of Famer. Then we are literally letting everybody in.
As a second baseman in his era, was he one of the first 2 or 3 guys you thought of that was at that position?
No,
That's okay. So
absolutely not. I'm not even trying to be funny here. I'm not trying.
No. That's fine. No, so who?
And we know ball.
Yeah. Okay. So who then? Who?
I could say Alfonso Soriano was a better second baseman than him.
No, I'm saying, but okay. So fine. I'll concede to that. That's fine, especially offensively. But I'm saying there's so you legit get the 3 or 4 guys right away before Pedroia. Because the Soriano I'll give you, but I'm like, to me, Pedroia's in that top 3. In my opinion. Because to me, it'd be Soriano, Utley, and him. Those are the guys I think about at that position during that era. Not anybody else before them 3. Soriano, Utley, Pedroia. So because he was, and once again, he's a 3-time. Well,
what about Jeff? Could we say Jeff Kent, or was he just a little too late?
Jeff Kent was before, way before those guys.
What about Robinson Cano? God, I'm not even a Yankees fan.
No, okay,
I'm like naming Yankees.
So I'm thinking, okay.
Brandon Phillips?
No, George better than Brandon Phillips.
Woo, really? Ian Kinsler?
I would say, once again, thank you for the home run he hit in Atlanta for us. I appreciate that. But no, you know what? No, I switch Utley for Cano, and I'm fine with that. Soriano, Cano, Pedroia.
You could even say, this is definitely an interesting name that I'm thinking of, but you could honestly say Placido Polanco.
Placido Polanco better than Pedroia? Really? With a straight face?
I mean, defensively, yeah, I would say Placido as
he was excellent. Come on. Laser show, Pedroia, Petey. He's your kind of player. He's your kind of guy. I know he wasn't on your team, but he's your kind of guy. Y'all would have loved him in Flushing Meadows in Queens. Y'all would have loved him over there.
No, because I had Kaz Matsui. Okay, I had Kaz Matsui.
Oh my god! Oh my god.
At that point in time, I had Jose Valentin on the 06 team.
I remember that. Wow. No, I don't know, man. I just think, to me, you thought about so. Yeah.
What about Brian Roberts?
If you want to say Soriano or Cano was ahead of him, cool. I'm fine with that. But once again, when you win an MVP, when you win,
it's just crazy.
He was a part of three championship teams. To me, he should be a coach somewhere. He should be a manager, in my opinion. But that's a whole nother story of another day. But hold on, let me pull it up now, so I get the exact numbers. There we go. So 2019. Yeah. So he has the same amount of home runs as Joe Mauer. Just under 300 for his batting career, but MVP, Rookie of the Year. So that they didn't give him the official for the 3rd title because he was on that 2018 team, but he got hurt.
I was gonna say I don't think he should be getting.
So Rookie of the Year, 2-time champ, 4-time All-Star, 4-time Gold Glove, Silver Slugger, and then got a Wilson Award. So so the accolades are there, and and once again, if it wasn't for fucking Manny Machado, he would have gotten some more numbers. But Manny Machado ended his career prematurely. That's the problem. And so if there's any argument that he's not the Hall of Famer right away, it's because of Manny Machado. So
we're going to blame Manny Machado.
Fuck Manny Machado. Fuck him.
All right. So I will give you the 2025 ballot for next year. This one's a little bit controversial as well for just first timers. So obviously CC Sabathia.
Yes.
Ichiro Suzuki.
Yes.
Ian Kinsler.
No.
Dustin Pedroia.
Yes.
Felix Hernandez.
Yes.
Curtis Granderson.
No.
Troy Tulowitzki.
No.
Ben Zobrist.
No.
Russell Martin.
No.
Your favorite draft pick, Hanley Ramirez from Mike Lowell.
Love Hanley, but no.
Adam Jones.
No.
Brian McCann.
No.
I'm not going to keep going because these are some kind of BS ones that I don't think is going to happen. But yeah, I think it's just going to be the CC Ichiro Suzuki show.
Pedroia, no. So I'm trying to think about you name on top. So CC, Ichiro, Pedroia,
Felix Hernandez.
Felix Hernandez. I think that's the 4.
See, I said this on MLB Spaces in the Twitter space yesterday. I mean, Felix Hernandez, I don't know, man. I mean, he has decent stats, but is it Hall of Fame worthy? And it's kind of funny. I know what you're going to say. Oh, Roy Halladay has almost the exact same stats as Felix Hernandez. He kind of does, but I don't know. Felix is I don't think he's going to be first ballot. I think maybe down the road. But I don't think Felix Hernandez is first ballot. I think the only first ballots is CC and Ichiro. And I mean, no one can replicate that CC Sabathia run when he got traded to the Brew Crew and had 10 complete games. It was 11-2 for the Brewers. I mean, I don't think anybody can replicate that.
I'm not gonna lie. I thought they were gonna win the World Series because I was like, wow, he's on fire.
Single-handedly took this team.
So, Was that the Nigel Morgan year, or that a couple years after when he got the base hit against Arizona? That might have been 2011. That might have been 08.
Yeah, I think so. Nigel Morgan, what a throwback!
I know, right? So no, well, yeah, you're right. I wasn't gonna bring up the Roy Halladay numbers. That's true. What was Seattle? He wasn't tuning in for See, I think about box office. I think about the stuff. I think about where you were intimidated to face a guy like him, and that those answers are all yes. Seattle was nothing to look at without.
That's all they had though was Felix Hernandez.
No, right, and I'm saying and Ichiro for a while. So it's just like my thing is, they never had a great team really around him. So him being 12-12 and getting the Cy Young, 13-12 again the Cy Young or whatever, it was like, oh, he's 13-12, and I'm like, dog. If he was on a great team, he'd be 20-6 damn near every year. Like the dude's stuff was just ridiculous. I always remember that final one of the fundamentals that at bat against Miguel Cabrera.
Jesus, yeah.
He made Miguel Cabrera, who was my favorite non-Red Sox of all time, made him look silly. So I don't know. I just think to me, Ichiro, Felix, Pedroia, and CC should be the 4 guys next year.
Now,
Martin, that man should not be on the list. That's wild.
Now, Andrew Jones is going on his 9th year next year. So,
so he's the 5th.
So,
guy.
would you? Okay, and then Billy Wagner. This is his last year next year. So you're saying Billy Wagner is not Hall of Fame worthy over Felix? I think if they're going to do that, I would put Billy Wagner.
So the reason why I didn't realize that was his last year. So
it will be next year.
If that's the case, I'm totally fine with Pedroia going in the next year, and then you get Billy there, and then you know what I'm saying, because it's like Pedroia, this is his first time on the ballot, so Pedroia he's going to get in. Pedroia is a Hall of Famer. I'm not.
I don't know.
Anyone that says otherwise, I'm sorry. Justin Pedroia is a Hall of Famer. Once again, were you considered one of the best at your position? Not some guy that was just a low role player. This wasn't a. You're talking like this man was Luis Soto. Sorry, Luis, you're catching the stray. He wasn't Luis Soto. He wasn't.
But he wasn't the Manny David Ortiz on those Sox teams, though. You guys still had good, better players than him.
So for the 07 team that won, sure, but by the time they won in 2013, he was the man. And once again, JD Drew picked and chose when he wanted to show up. They traded Euclid, right? They traded Manny, which I still never get over. Even though Jason Bay was really good in Boston, but
I'll never get over that he took women's hormones. Though that's
crazy. But who else?
Jared Saltalamacchia? Come on.
Yeah, but he wasn't better than Pedroia. But he was a good catcher. He wasn't better than he was a Theo guy. He was on the team because of Theo. And then but I'm like, we was getting contributions from guys like Mike Karp, who had a bomb.
Daniel Nava.
Yeah, exactly. So it wasn't but I'm like, yeah. By that time, 2013 team, yeah, it was Ortiz, then Pedroia, and Pedroia was the captain. The captain, him and that was, he was our Veritek, but he was, but by that time, so yeah, I would say that. But 07, yeah, 'cause he was a rookie. But by the time 2013 was around, he was a bona fide leader on that team. So
I just think of Pedroia as like a Trot Nixon.
wow.
Was that
I mean,
too hard?
no. Trot Nixon was an intricate part for sure. But Trot Nixon was never an All-Star, never in MVP voting. But definitely someone that you needed on the team. So I mean, if that's the case, then that's the route you want to go. Then sure, not mad at that. But either way, number 15, PD, you Hall of Famer eventually. You're a Hall of Famer. So congrats in advance.
Yeah. Well, do you, unless you have anything else,
basketball, Doc Rivers stuff.
Oh yes. See, we're so much in the baseball, I totally forgot. So 30-13, Mr. Adrian Griffin gets fired.
Raw deal.
Apparently, from what I saw today, I don't know how true this is. It is Stephen A. Smith. The Milwaukee Bucks basketball players were jumping up and down in the locker room when he got fired. I joked around that he was trying to trade Giannis's brother, Thanasis. Apparently, he's an untouchable. I didn't realize this. Didn't realize Thanasis was a MVP type player, but I guess I don't know much about basketball. In comes Doc Rivers. Apparently, he's getting $40 million total, I believe, through the 2027 season.
Yep.
The Milwaukee Bucks are literally paying 3 coaches as this is going down.
Mm-hmm.
And now, does this team have no excuses to win the NBA Finals? We know Doc Rivers' track record when it comes to being up 3-2s, losing in Game 7s. I actually think he's had better teams than this Milwaukee team and still lost. I think he got a raw end of the deal in Philly, but I think it was just because of the James Harden and the Ben Simmons fiasco. I think if that didn't really happen, he still would be in Philly.
Right.
But nonetheless, do you think this is a good hire for the Bucks? And is their window getting even closer to being closed with the roster that they have?
So, I mean, you saw a little bit of my stance the other day because I wrote it on our Sports Nation page that we're a part of. I'm not defending Doc Rivers anymore. Once again, forever thankful for 08. Should have been a second one in 2010, but it didn't work out that way. This is his last stop, and Stephen A. called this. He said this like, hey, do not think that they won't let you go in a heartbeat, meaning Adrian Griffin. And but I mean, I don't blame Doc for taking the job. And once again, even if he gets fired early, he's getting $40 million more. That's phenomenal. That's awesome. That is awesome from a guy that was a role player in the NBA because he was never a star. He was just the guy that played alongside Dominique Spud-Webb. The man's probably made almost $100 million from coaching. It's amazing. It's great. And he's still a champion. So that's what I'm saying. That's why I laugh. Regardless of all this, he blew the 3-1 lead. Still a champ. Like, the Clippers were a joke. Like, the Clippers were never more relevant than they were. Well, I mean, they're relevant now because of Kawhi and PG, but they weren't relevant. They were more. And I don't think they come to LA if Doug maybe isn't the coach. So we say that. But something tells me this team is going to fit Doc's personality a little bit more than in years past. So we'll see how that goes. He hasn't coached a Giannis type player since Kevin Garnett. Because Embiid's not even like that. Embiid is a great player, but he's not. Embiid's more finesse. Giannis is all, he's raw, like KG's in that regard. So I think that he's going to relish in that coaching him, but Adrian Griffin got a raw deal. I feel like he probably should have stayed in Dallas, and I'm sure Jason Kidd is probably telling him that right now. Because Jason Kidd also got let go prematurely in Milwaukee as well. We forget that. So I think that it sucks, but yeah, Doc Rivers. Once again, I don't know who's gotten more chances than him. He's definitely become the NBA Jeff Fisher, only that he's won. And or even maybe even NBA Marvin Lewis, right? Because Marvin Lewis was at places for he was in Cincinnati forever and never won, but was there for 15 years and just kept collecting checks. So I don't know, but either way, congrats to him. 40 mil is 40 mil, and keep getting that money, big dog.
For real. I mean, is he going to help though? I believe the Bucks are 28th in defense. Obviously, with Dame Lillard there, kind of he doesn't really play much defense, and you got rid of a guy in Drew Holiday for him, who was phenomenal.
Fine by me.
For Boston.
Fine by me. So
yeah, I joked around on the Just Fans pod, the Houston pod, but they do this like every Wednesday. They do a basketball pod with a bunch of guys. Great show, by the way. And I joked, I said, you know what? If only the Magic let Tim Duncan's wife go on an airplane, Doc Rivers would probably have more rings.
Yeah, pretty much.
But I mean, I have nothing really much to say about that. I mean, it's a good hire for Doc because he's getting more money than he is at ESPN, and he still is a good coach. It's just that in crunch time situations, we've seen it. He kind of falters in game sevens. I mean, he can't replicate the 2008 to 2010 Celtics teams with what he's got. I think Lob City was kind of the best team that he's had post Celtics.
Mm-hmm.
And even he couldn't even get them to the Western Conference Finals. And I don't know, just keep check stealing, do what you need to do, get as much wins as you can, and then when playoffs come, if you lose, it's expected. At least you won't get fired because the Bucks can't afford to pay another head coach. So hey, do what you need to do.
Hey, it is what it is. But hey, make your money. But breaking news, I didn't see the whole thing, but our boy, LeBron James, has been selected to his 20th All-Star game. Say what you will, how you feel about the man off the court or whatever. So that's a phenomenal number. He's done everything in his league, so that congrats to him on 20 on his 20th All-Star game. I don't think he's going to get a chance to play with his son next year. I don't think his son's good enough yet. But yeah, 20 All-Star games, probably gonna get voted in as a starter again. So yeah, what more can I say? What more can I say? What more can we do? Shout out to Hov. So yeah.
Oh wow, this is an interesting East starters: Tyrese Halliburton, Joel Embiid, Giannis, Jason Tatum, and Dame Lillard.
Wow. Wait, Tatum was a starter in the East?
Guess so.
Wow. A guy that can't really play. He's not good. He's not that good. He's another guy that started. Wow. Unbelievable. Can't believe it.
I'm surprised that Jalen Brunson is not over Dame Lillard. I think he's way better than Dame Lillard this season, commanding that Knicks team. But
see Chelsea, see what you started, Chelsea. You see,
just speaking the truth.
You see, Chelsea, you see what you started, friend. Oh my God. Listen, Brunson will get in as a reserve, so just be happy about that.
Yeah, but come on, I want him to be a starter, not a reserve.
You get in as a reserve. It should be Brunson, Jaylen Brown. I'm trying to think who else should be. Probably Bam. So Brunson, Brown, Bam. I don't know who else would be the. And I don't know who else would be another reserve, but those should be 3 out of 5 or 6 reserves.
And then for the West, obviously you said LeBron James, but we have Nikola Jokic, SGA, Luka, and Kevin Durant. Damn, I really wanted Alperen Şengün to be a starter, but he'll probably be a reserve.
Over Jokic though? Come on, stop it.
It can't be over KD.
I mean, no, but I'm saying it's his position. Jokic that's the position, right?
Well, he's more like a 4 than a 5.
The way he plays, he's a 5.
Well, then Jabari Smith is a 4. I don't know.
Right? Yeah, and his NBA, sure, yes. But Şengün should be a reserve. I agree with that. I think that he's balled out enough to be that. So I wouldn't be opposed to that. But yeah, him, Booker's probably a reserve.
I don't know though. Would he? Because he's missed a lot of time.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I'm trying to think who else in the West they would think about voting for though. I don't know, but yeah, because the votes, the reserves are coaches' votes. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Interesting. Well, unless you have anything else, I don't think any breaking news is going to pop up. I guess we can get into final words.
Not until we not until we go off the air, then it'll pop up.
For
No, I mean, listen, I mean, we have given you a 2-for-1 special today on TMS. You know, don't tell us that we don't love you. You know, I said we work hard when we're not on here. We work hard while we all are on here. So, you know, we're giving you all the content we can get. But yeah, keep listening. And once again, you know, all the information is at the bottom. So just make sure that you hit that like button, subscribe to the show. We are underway to 100 subscribers. So once again, make sure that you are hitting that subscribe button, support the show, spread love. You know, because we need it. And like I said, we're trying to maintain that greatness and give you that greatness. So just make sure that you spread the word. You know, so that we can feed our families. And that's a real thing. So yeah, but and as always, Black Lives Matter, not just when it's convenient for you.
Yep. Obviously, appreciate everyone that is either liked the show, commented, you know, viewed, whether it's audio or on YouTube. Appreciate everyone. Also appreciate everyone that is on Instagram, Twitter. I'm gonna keep calling it Twitter till it's whatever. Appreciate everyone on that following us, you know, liking our content. I mean, I show a lot of love as That's My Sports for all the other channels, just kind of like the same. I mean, I don't do it just so I can get it back. I actually enjoy the shows that go on. But it was kind of, you know, a little reciprocation. I mean, I am being a little greedy right there, but it is what it is. Do appreciate all the subscribers that are on YouTube. Just make sure you do subscribe, like, helps out the algorithm on YouTube. Again, if you do catch us on the live stream, we do answer the comments and questions that are in the comment section of YouTube. So just check us out. We do have 91 subscribers, trying to get to that 100. Much appreciated, as well as if you follow us on streaming platforms. You can listen. That's cool, but subscribing and following the channel helps as well. So make sure you do that as you're on the audio version. And as always, Black People Matter. I'm your host, the most, Aaron Cass, here with Hollywood Ray. Don't forget as well, we are doing a live recap of the Royal Rumble on Sunday at 1:30, and hopefully we'll be doing a Shay and Aaron show soccer channel at 11 o'clock as well on Sunday. So check out, there's gonna be another 2-for-1 special on the same day. So if that's it for That's My Sports, we'll see when we see you. Peace.
Tie this game at 60.